That's
a new intro music.
We stop using the music entirely, and it's just you repeating that for a full minute. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Emma.
I'm Spook.
What's up? I'm back, bitches.
She doesn't have a name though. She
bitches.
She came back without a name. she came back as back bitches. That's her name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways,
I would like to say before Emma introduces the podcast, I almost said my sore throat. My throat is sore, so if my voice dies through the podcast episode, Emma will edit it out.
No, it won't.
No, we're gonna enhance it so it's more noticeable.
Thanks.
Listen, when your voice gets all raspy and stuff, you're gonna have so many people simping for you. Anyways, on that note, can you tell that we don't actually have a topic for the podcast today?
We don't?
No.
Oh. I've sat here all day trying to figure out a topic. I've been, we have a big Google Docs. I went through it. I went through, websites to try to find, conversation starters and all that stuff. And I found some good ones, and I was like, oh, we already did an episode on this. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're winging it.
We literally don't have a topic, so we basically were just like, let's just go, we'll start, and we'll just see what happens. So, sorry for whatever kind of hot mess train wreck this is gonna be.
But welcome back to the Burnout Kids podcast.
Living up to the name.
Literally. I've been doing so much homework this week that I don't have a brain anymore.
I took a whole semester off, came back this semester and went, this was a bad idea. Maybe I should have dropped out. Maybe I should have fully dropped out.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
I want to say that I have a confession.
Uh-oh.
I
want to hear it.
I've been looking at
interior design.
Pardon
Would
me?
you let her finish? My God!
I got excited. I've been telling her for the last year to look into interior design. She's like, no, I don't want to. And then, she goes on The Sims and makes a really nice house. I'm like, go into frickin' interior design. You have good interior design.
I bet you, when she plays House Flipper...
Why'd you get so close to your mic?
She's telling us a story here.
I bet you when Jess plays House Flipper and she finishes a house, it's the best fucking thing anyone has ever seen. I bet you she makes the best houses. I'm just saying.
I'm being complimented too much, and I feel like a bit overwhelmed here. I was gone for an episode, and everyone's like, "She's back. Let's start giving her compliments so she won't leave again."
Oh God, Jess, we missed you. Please never leave us again.
I went insane talking to just Emma.
Same. Do you know how hard it is hearing my own voice?
You're a content creator. You edit the podcast.
Do you know how much I don't enjoy it? I take so much psychic damage.
Actually, when I first started recording stuff and doing streams and all that stuff, looking or watching back or listening back to the stuff I recorded was absolutely horrible because I hated my voice so much, and now I'm just like, yeah, that's my voice. Whatever.
I was actually talking about this with one of my friends the other day. How I watched I was looking at some of my clips for my channel because I wanted to make sort of like a trailer kind of thing. Basically, just be like, this is what my channel's like. And I was looking through my most popular clips, and I found one from when I first started streaming, and I was really quiet. I was still talking quite a bit, but you could tell I didn't know what I was doing. And then I watched a clip from a stream from maybe I think December. It was literally a clip from February and then a clip from December all of last year, and the difference between the two of them is so insane because it's the February one, like I said, it was kind of quiet, you can tell I don't really know what I'm doing, and then the December one's yeah, I don't give a shit, what's up, fuckers. It was just the biggest change.
That's kind of all December I recorded. I'm not gonna spoil it because I still am freaking editing it, but I'm busy with school. But I recorded a big long Minecraft thing, like all month, and I noticed a difference in my voice from like the first couple recording sessions to the very end. And I'm like, yeah, I just got a lot more confident. I kind of knew what I was saying by the end of it, and I kind of knew, I guess, like how to record the episode. But I found either way, I still talk pretty quietly.
I feel like when you have a like volume that you prefer, you don't like stray away from it.
Because I just kind of like, I get into a mood, especially while building and like working on creative stuff just in general. But I kind of get into this mood and like my voice just levels out.
Well, I feel
that monotone voice that Emma loves so much.
Yeah. No, but I don't think like your volume necessarily like shows whether or not like you're confident in what you do. I think it's like genuinely like just how you present yourself, and like if you really enjoy what you're doing, even if you're not necessarily loud, you can still see it just in the way that you just kind of exist. That like you can just tell that you're confident. Like I said, because there was just
me,
so
I don't like soft voices, which is why I struggle to watch like a lot of female content creators, especially YouTubers, because they always have this very high pitched, like almost like an ooh voice. That sounds so fake, and I'm like, I hate it. Just talking your normal voice. It's not that bad. I just had a voice crack there. I don't know if you heard that.
Talking a normal voice.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've said before that one of my favorite accents, though, are, like, those, like, New York, like, Boston type of accents that are, like, really intense for some reason. I don't know why I like those so much, but something about the intensity of them is just so fucking great. Like, the best example I can think, like a Harley Quinn type of, like, voice, or, like, or, like, fucking Jay Schlatt. Like, I don't know what it is. Well. I don't know what it is. I love them. I think they're so cool. I think they're great. Yeah. I just like the intensity.
I'm gonna mention something. So this was like, I'd say like, a week or two ago. I was in a call with one of our friends, Abby, and I slipped into one of my accents that I go into. It was a British accent. And you know what Abby did instead of helping me get out of it? She was laughing at me.
I yell at you.
Yeah, you guys at least try and get me out of it. I was just, little loser.
Shamed you out of speaking in an accent.
We yell at like, you, she bullies you.
Wait, I want to mention this. I just thought of last night. Emma and I were in a call together, and we were doing homework because we were waiting for one of our friends to come back into the call. And so I was doing my Greek homework, so I was reading Greek and all that. And Emma shared her screen to show me the topics that she had to do for one of her projects. And I was reading them out loud, and I think I stopped every other word because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
It was so
Psychiatric
funny.
is a hard word to pronounce when you're not thinking in English.
It was so funny though, because they literally switched from like reading like Greek to then trying to read like in these like
medical
English paragraph. Yeah, this English paragraph with medical terms in it, because it's a course on like the history of like mental health. And it was so funny because like it would be words where I look at it and I could pronounce it like nothing, but Spook was like every other word would stop and I'd be like, you got it, you can do it, or I would just say the word because I'm like, I'm literally
at the very end.
I just like sitting there like, yeah, they're definitely still, their head is definitely still in a whole other language right now.
I felt like stoned or something. I've never been stoned before, but at that moment I was like, yeah, that's what it feels like to be stoned. But at the very end, I don't know what word I said, but I pronounced it, and I just quietly said, nailed it, and Emma just lost it.
And her friend had joined the VC at that time too, but didn't know what I was laughing about. So it just like sounded like you just hear Spook just go, nailed it, and me just fucking bursting out in laughter.
And her friend did not nail it, honey.
And her friend was like, okay, I could probably pull up the worksheet again.
I don't think it was on the worksheet. I think it was something just completely different. I just got it first try.
Nailed it.
But
But it was really funny.
diagnosis.
Yeah, diagnosis. Because you kept saying diagnosis. You kept saying ah instead of o.
Those damn vowels.
Get you every time.
I always mess with it. Yep.
But
Don't know if it's a long vowel or short vowel.
What the hell?
But I mean, like, that's like
David, you sneezed?
Yeah, I sneezed.
No, I didn't even comprehend it.
I'm lost in the vowels.
No!
This is what happens when we don't have a topic.
Jess sneezed? Yeah, I sneezed. Oh,
what? Crazy. That's crazy. No, but I honestly think though that's the one thing with like people specifically who like know more than one language is if they're specifically in like thinking or reading in one language and then they suddenly have to switch to another one. Like I've heard that apparently it's really hard.
Also, okay, I have two things to say.
yes.
Also, so last night as well, I was translating a sentence from Greek to English. And I was talking to you guys, obviously in English. And then I was like, hang on, guys. I think I've almost got this sentence. And then I stopped. Everyone was waiting for me to say the sentence. And then I went, sorry, my music is speaking German to me. It threw me up. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, you literally just paused and we're all sitting there like, you gonna tell us? And you're like, hang on, sorry, my music's speaking German. We're like, huh?
I was so ready. I was like, yeah, Greek, translating. And then I was like, I know this language.
It's so funny though, too, because when you say things like that, it doesn't faze me anymore because you learn so many languages that it's just, when you say something like, yeah, my music is speaking German to me, I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right.
That's just a normal sentence.
But then, But then, it was like November, probably early December or something like that. I messaged Jess after one of my classes. I typed out the sentence pretty quickly. So I didn't even like comprehend. And you read it and went, what did you just say to me? What just happened there? I'm like, that was me switching back to English after speaking French for 3.5 hours. Because I had a 3-hour class, all in French, and then like half of it was a lecture, half of it was we got into groups and spoke only in French. So my brain was like French. And then I typed the sentence in English, and it was not English.
I think it's funny because I knew that you were clearly getting out of a lesson. So I'm like, you want to try that again? What is it?
I don't know what happened.
That's you know what that reminds me of? And we talked about this in another episode. It was like that one time that you asked me to read like a chapter from a story you were reading, and I looked at one sentence and I didn't edit it, I didn't change it, I just highlighted it. I just showed it back to you and went, you want to read that for me?
What was that sentence again?
I don't remember.
He walked him watch away.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that in the writing episode. It just reminded me of that where I just highlighted it, just slowly passed it over. And went, you want to look at that again?
And the thing is, I read it and I was like, yeah, that looks right.
Yeah, I literally had to tell you to read it a second time.
I know. My issue, I have the same issue at work as well whenever I'm speaking to customers and all that stuff. But the issue is that my brain goes so quickly that my mouth can't keep up with me.
Yeah.
It happened there. That was not a proper sentence, I don't think.
It worked anyway. We understood.
But like at work, I'll have to stop. I look at the customer, I'm like, let me try that again.
Yeah, oh no, I've had to do that.
I need to laugh at me. I'm like, to reboot.
Yeah,
because as well, sometimes sometimes there's a huge long line, and like I'm like just head empty, gotta get through this line, and then I'm like I don't know words.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to tell you the price of your order, but like I don't know numbers.
I used to do that all the time when I was working.
What's happening recently is whenever I count, whenever I get to 39, I just forget what's next.
39.
I'd be like 37, 38, 39, and I'm like, what?
There's a number after that.
There's a number, don't know what it is.
There sure is one. Do I know it? Probably not.
Not right now.
But I mean, it's also too, at work, I have similar issues too, where like my brain goes faster than my mouth does. So, because a lot of times I switch back and forth, whereas like one shift I'll do a closing shift, and then suddenly I'll be doing like a morning shift or like early afternoon or something. And normally when people leave, I'll like say like, all right, have a good day, have a good night, have a good rest of your day, whatever. But the amount of times I've mixed it up and then I'll go like, have a good nay. And then I'm like, and then I'm just kind of, but I also like mumble it at the same time. So it's just kind of like, they've already walked away. I'm just going to let them decide what I said.
That's why I started switching to have a good one. Because I always work the night shift, so I always say have a good night. But then I'd work a day shift and be like, yeah, have a good night at like 9 a.m. I'd be like, I work the night shifts, don't mind me.
Dude, you're
pre-warning. People laugh at me.
I tried doing that. I don't know what it is, but my brain just automatically always goes to have a good night or have a good day. It's
have a good night.
It's one or the other.
But every morning shift without fail, at one point I always say have a good night, and it's like 10 a.m. and it's just like, well, I hope the rest of your day is good too, but I guess specifically your night.
Yeah, I hate when you get stuck in the loop with a customer of just saying, yeah, have a good one, have a good one, have a good one, and it's like, and just leave already.
Leave or else none of us are gonna have a good day, man.
Because I don't know what it is about me. Emma's gonna say something about me.
Just say your thing.
Go ahead. We're waiting.
Go ahead, sweetie. Go ahead.
Such an inside joke, but anyway. My issue is that I have troubles, like, with saying, like, goodbyes and all that stuff, as in, like, just ending a conversation. Like, whenever I'm in a VC, I always say adios, because it's just more natural than saying, like, yeah, bye. Or I'll say goodnight and, like, love you as well. That also helps. But I just, like, cannot say something that just closes a conversation. You just need to leave. Can't. Like, just stop the conversation right there. Don't say goodbye to me or anything, just leave.
I was gonna say, I feel like if you were in the middle of a conversation with someone and you decided you were done, you would rather just literally turn around and walk away than actually say anything.
Literally.
Where are you going? I'm done with this conversation.
Like, whenever we have to finish the podcast, I can guarantee you I probably have never closed the podcast. It's always been someone else.
Well, you sometimes have final statements, but then somebody else then has
final
something
statements.
else. But then someone always has something else they want to say.
Yeah.
I know, I was trying to do, like, the final statement, just to, like, yeah, that's it. And then you guys continue on. I'm like, stop.
No, you say it, and then I'm like, wait, but I have things I can add to that.
I have to say bye now. I can't.
Well, don't worry. I'll let you say goodbye at the end, probably.
No.
That's not a good idea.
No,
just stop the podcast halfway through a sentence.
Yeah, I'll just cut off right there. It's a 10-minute episode. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Finally.
Yeah.
The shortest episode. Let's go.
I kind of, like, understand, though, like, having trouble saying goodbye, but at the same time, it definitely, for me, that feels weird, just, like, turning around and just walking out of conversation and not saying anything. But at the same time, it's like, I also get it, because, like, when I'm, like, at certain things and my social battery has just completely died, the thought of even trying to say goodbye to somebody sucks, and it's just like, I'm just gonna slip out and hope no one notices. I don't want to say anything. I'm
like, even with family, my parents are like, say goodbye. I'm like,
Yeah,
and then I say,
it's not that I don't care about you guys. It's more of the fact that I am exhausted, my brain's not working anymore, and I'm probably just saving both of us from an embarrassing encounter.
I had the weirdest experience. It was a couple days after Christmas, and we went up to my uncle's house. And so it was my uncle, my other uncle, and my aunt who were there. And one of my uncles and we went to get dinner. And we were sitting there waiting for our food. And I was like, I don't know how to talk to this dude. Like, he's my uncle. I've known him my entire life. But I don't know what the heck to say.
So, how do you...
awkward. I was like, oh dear God, why did I go to get food with him?
It's always the uncles. Like, you know how to talk to...
My uncle's great. No, my uncle's great. I have conversations with him all the time. It's just that one time where I was like, I don't know who the hell you are.
How did
I get in this car?
My brain just stopped.
I think
it's like, I've never met this man before in my life.
I think, honestly, though, it's probably because you were out at a public place and suddenly there was pressure of, like, we have to have a conversation because that's what you do when you get food. And not just a, hey, family's coming over, we're hang out.
It's not even that we were sitting down for food. We were literally at, like, sitting on a bench waiting for the person to bring out our food so we could bring it back home.
Oh, I hate that.
I did not like that. I was like,
I would have cried.
I know this man my entire life.
I mean, I've literally said
I
before,
look like him.
but I mean, I've like said before, like I can't stand stuff like small talk. Like I cannot do small talk. It drives me absolutely fucking insane. When somebody tries to small talk me, it's like I'd rather us either stand here in silence or you say just the weirdest shit that makes me laugh, and then we just go from there. Like,
yeah.
Don't come up to me like, so how's school going?
How's school going? I want to.
Yeah, like,
I'm gonna drop out.
yeah, like don't.
I hate it.
Don't start conversations like that with me, because like you're like I'll still be friendly, but like I'm not.
We don't want to talk to you after that.
Yeah, nah.
My least favorite thing, especially right now, is when people come up to me and they're like, "So what are you studying?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm studying history," and they're like, "Oh, you want to be a teacher?" Or like, "What do you want to do with that?" Well, currently I'm thinking of going back to school for something else because I hate my degree. But my thing that really bothers me, I'm just talking about everything I hate, but what really bothers me when people are like, "Oh, you're studying history. Oh, you want to be a teacher?" It's like, there's other options than just being a teacher, right? So
Apparently
I think what I'm
not.
gonna start doing, even though I don't plan to do anything with this degree because like I'm just not enjoying it, I'm just planning to get it done and then go back to school for something else. But I think what I'm going to start saying now when people are like, "Oh, you're studying history, you want to be a teacher?" I'm just be like, "No, I want to be an archaeologist." Because I can do that with a history degree.
You know what would be really funny though? If somebody asked, like, you told someone you were trying to get a history degree, and they were like, "Oh, what do you want to do? You be a teacher or something?" And you just be like, "No, actually, I want to be one of those like false prophets that stands at like a corner and just waves a bell with a big sign that says the end is nigh."
No, I want to be a grave robber.
That's gonna be my whole job, my whole profession.
Yeah.
Oh, but
what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know, man. Happy. Financially stable.
Whenever people ask me about it and everything, like, because my program, since it's definitely more of a new thing, people always have questions about it. And so one of the main questions I get is like, well, what are you going to do with that degree? Like, what do you want to do? And I literally, at this point, I feel like I should just start being like, I don't fucking know. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna go from there. We're gonna see what happens. Good luck to me.
Especially right now, like, I feel like the pandemic for the last 2 years. Oh God, sorry. The pandemic for the last 2 years has just like destroyed, like any, I guess, motivation I've had to continue on with history. Like before, I loved history, I still love history, but like I loved history and I really wanted to go into it, and like I really loved learning French, and now it's like I hate everything.
It's literally how I feel.
Like I still like learning French and I like learning about history and all this stuff, but it's like I don't want to do this anymore.
It's literally how I felt about mine.
When people
bring up sat in my room for the last 2 years doing this.
When people I don't want to do it. The fact that I left my college program, it's like, oh, did you not like that program? No, I loved it. I literally adored that program. It's just the fact that it's such a hands-on program, and you can't do it outside of like hands-on. You have to be there. Like it doesn't work when you're not.
I think that's what I'm struggling a lot with like, especially with online school, is that like I'm not like what's the word? Like I don't learn very well just by listening. Like
You're a hands-on learner?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the best way for me to learn, like I can't learn really from a book. It's like you have to teach it to me and then let me do it. And let me make my own mistakes while I do it. Like
that is
a great example is learning how to cook, because I'm not good at cooking. Let's just start with that. But like I've asked my mom many times, I'm like, hey, can you teach me how to make this recipe or something like that? Or I'll just tell her like, hey, I'm gonna try making dinner tonight, kind of thing. And what she does is she just hovers over me, and I'm like, Mom, leave me alone. Like, let me just make my mistakes in the kitchen and all that stuff, and I'll figure it out as I go. Like, the best way for me to learn is just make mistakes and then continue on from there.
Like, I feel like that's one of the things that I'm the same with. Like, I want to learn how to cook. Like, I don't really know how to. Because, like, I've seen it I've seen people do it and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to do that. But then when people hover, I'm like, I actually don't want to do this anymore.
I hate cooking,
Thanks.
but I make a fantastic pasta sauce. I once made pasta sauce. Like, I made full-on dinner the one night. My mom sat down, she was like, this sauce is so good. She went back for more, like, she literally just got a bowl of the sauce and just ate it. I was like, yo.
Hey, Spook,
Remember
that time I came over to your house and we tried to make Alfredo sauce and it turned into glue?
You know what I did wrong?
That was so funny.
What happened?
Basically, so I came over because we were going to watch Ferris Bueller because Spook had never seen it before. It's one of my favorite movies.
Like, I was home alone as well.
Yeah, you were home alone, and yeah, they had never seen it, and it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So I came over so that like we could watch it, and then we were going to make chicken Alfredo to like have for dinner because
my mom had just taught me the recipe, and I was like, yeah, I know how to make this now.
So I was
I did it.
Yeah, so I was like, cool, we'll make that. We'll watch the movie. It'll be great. We'll hang out. And then we went to make the fucking sauce, and I don't know what it was we were missing or added too much of.
Oh no, I know exactly what I did wrong, but I'll let you finish.
The sauce literally all congealed into like this like ball that turned into basically just glue. And like it tasted fine. It was just it didn't properly cover the pasta because it wasn't really sauce anymore. It was just kind of a congealment of the sauce.
Exactly. I remade it a couple days later because I was like, what the hell did I do wrong? Like I got my mom to cook it and I watched her and I was like, okay, what I did wrong is that I didn't add enough butter. You need to put like
that makes sense.
You need to put so much butter that like there's like a good 2 centimeters of melted butter on the bottom of the pan, pretty much.
That makes sense.
I didn't do that.
When was that? I was like, what, grade 11, grade 12?
Oh my god.
That was, we were in high school when it happened.
Yeah, like 2017, 2018.
But god, I just suddenly, you talking about being good at making pasta, I just suddenly remembered that.
I've now since been able to make it, and I have made it like, I think I made it last month for my dad and I, and it was really good.
I'm sure you can make it great now, but that's such a funny memory of us just being like, what the hell did we do?
I was so confused. What is wrong? You're having a great time though. Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Like I made my mistake, and now I can make a good chicken Alfredo. Like
exactly. And now also too, as you said, Ferris Bueller's one of your favorite movies. So
yeah, it was a win-win situation.
It was a good night.
How did you never watch Ferris Bueller before that?
Because I don't watch movies.
Spook doesn't really watch movies, so there's a lot of movies that I've shown them. Usually older movies, those are the ones that I show them, like ones from like the 80s.
Yeah. The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, the Breakfast Club. But
I don't know why you're still in shock. You know that I don't watch a lot of movies.
Oh yeah,
I'm allowed to be in
I stopped being
People are always like, oh, what show are you? Yeah, it's like, what show are you watching? I'm like, I don't watch TV. Like,
what show are you watching? It's this old show. You'll never know what it is. What is it? It's called Nothing, bitch.
Yeah. What show are you watching? It's this show called Hermitcraft. You probably haven't heard of it.
Literally. What are you watching right now? I'm rewatching Last Life.
It's a really underground show. You'll never know what it is.
Yeah, you probably haven't heard of it. I
think about that a lot though, because like a lot of people have like their main interest is watching TV shows and movies, and I'm like, what the hell do I do with my time?
You don't want to talk about that.
Minecraft mainly.
Yeah, video games. I read a lot as well.
Yeah.
I think about how much I read, and I'm like, wow, I read a lot. Like, probably half of my day is dedicated to reading.
I need to watch more. I need to read more. I have books I want to read, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I've been lazy.
Okay, Jess, you sent me that TikTok last night, I think, about Indigo or something. Okay, I need to say something. I keep seeing that book and the author. I don't know anything about it. It just has suddenly. It has. I can't remember what her name is now. Jess
I will bring it up right now. I'll bring it up.
But basically, it just has suddenly just popped up in front of me. I have no idea what any of this is. I've been so confused and why it's suddenly getting thrown at me. But it's a specific book this author has written, and she apparently has like a sequel or something coming out soon. Everyone is suddenly like, "This is a great book. Like, you have to read it." And I'm literally like, "I don't know what this is. Please, why?
It's
what is so
Colleen
great about
Hoover.
this book?" Yes,
Colleen Hoover.
that's the
Hang
author.
on, I gotta Google something.
She's very new to the scene, I think. I don't know, but she has reminders of him. Layla. It ends with us. That's that's the one that I keep hearing about. Like, I literally know nothing, and suddenly everyone's like, "Yeah, she's so great," and I'm like, "I've never heard of this person in my life. I don't know where this came from." Apparently, TikTok or something has really boosted her recently. But yeah, you said that, you're like, "We have to go," and I was like, "I don't know who she is, but cool." I don't know. I've never read anything that she has, but I want. Yeah, but TikTok really boosted it recently.
Yeah, and she has a sequel to it coming out this year, apparently. I literally looked it up last night after you sent me that TikTok, because I literally had no idea. But yeah, good for her. Good for her that that everyone's like, "Yeah, look at this cool author." But yeah, I had to mention that, because, like, I saw that last night and I was like, I don't know what the hell this is. Why is... Someone explain something, please.
Why is Jess sending this to me? I don't understand.
I'm very confused right now. That's pretty much how I felt.
I'm very confused, but I'm listening.
Pretty much. But yeah,
you never answered. Do you want to go to the bookstore?
I go to the bookstore.
I don't really have the money for a bookstore just right now.
You don't have money for a bookstore? Are you buying it?
Yeah.
Damn, you rich.
If I could, hey, when I go to bookstores, I buy the whole thing, store and all.
I'll buy you a book, one singular book, because they're expensive.
When are we gonna? No, but her books are 25% off all week.
No, but you guys should definitely stop by my bookstore though. You guys will get my friends and family discount.
Does your bookstore have a cat?
Of course, it has 4.
Oh, I'll be there.
Specifically 4. But yeah, you guys get the friends and family discount. It's 10% added on.
Added on?
Yep.
That sounds like a steal to me. Let's go.
Yeah. Then you gotta pay 10% extra. Okay. You're my family and friend. You need to support my small business.
Listen, man, I'm just there for the cats.
Completely fair.
All I want in life is to own a cute little bookstore and have a little bookstore cat.
I would go to that bookstore.
Can we do a cafe with it too? Because of course you need a cafe too.
I have a little bookstore and a little cafe off the side.
I was gonna say, you could have a bookstore on one side, like in one building, and then like literally next door, like it could be like an attached building. Next door is the cafe, and you guys like have like joint stuff like together to like promote each other and everything.
Spook, you ready?
So rich down.
Yeah. We're gonna be so rich.
Emma has just created a business for us. Emma
you guys run the stores, and I'm just like I'm the CEO. I'm the CEO that just sits in the back petting a cat all day, and when you come into my office, I slowly turn around in my chair petting the cat, and I'm like, I've been expecting you.
You probably wondered why I called this meeting.
It's literally just you walking in the office, the door slams shut and locks. Just like, you're terrified, you're like, yeah, I was kind of wondering, so I wanted to give you a raise.
Oh, thanks, Emma!
This is absolute menacing, you're probably wondering why I called you here. A little bit, yeah. I'm gonna give you a raise. Oh, thanks.
Oh, that's great. I thought you were gonna kill me.
That's tomorrow, don't worry. That's tomorrow.
I was gonna disappear under mysterious circumstances.
Don't worry, that's for next year.
What happened to them?
Okay, you see.
We don't talk about them, for one. They were never here to begin with.
I can't wait to take on that role. You guys are gonna have these cute little shops and stuff, and there's just my menacing office in the back.
In the back. Hey guys, what's that room? We don't touch the room.
Camera pans to it, and there's just like lightning and thunder. And all stuff. It's like, why is there a thunderstorm inside?
There's just rain falling, but just in the one spot in front of the door. You guys like have a bucket under it.
Stop anyone who wants to go. It's just You don't want to go back there, dude.
It's like, you don't go in there, you're called in there.
Oh.
That's gonna be my business.
You're called back there. Oh, okay.
You never go back there on your own.
It's you be called in there or something worse.
We saw
Something
Jimmy go in
worse.
there last week and he hasn't returned.
No, Jimmy!
Not Jimmy!
Oh no. He was always a bit odd.
How did we
He
get
did
to this?
tend to get
No.
quirky at night.
He got a little quirky at night.
This episode has dissolved.
This is exactly what
Yes.
happens when we come into an episode with no plan whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
This is why we write out questions beforehand. Sorry, let me rephrase that. This is why Emma writes questions beforehand.
Yeah, it's why
If you guys like listen to this podcast think that we have an equal share of work, it's no.
No.
Emma does all the work.
I show up and I look
y'all show up
pretty.
and then I do everything else.
Hey, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret here.
Uh-oh.
Originally this podcast was just supposed to be Emma and Jess. And then
Yeah.
one day Emma I pretty much invited myself.
Yeah, you did. I
I appeared one day. I'm like, hey guys, here I am. And
Yeah.
now I
was like,
appear in every
Emma,
episode.
why is Spook here? And they're like, don't worry about it. I'm like, what the fuck
Don't
do you
worry
mean,
about a
don't worry
thing.
about it?
And now here we are. Also, I would like to let you in on one other secret. So we
What the hell
record
did you
these
do?
through a Discord server. It's like a private server just
Oh,
for
yeah.
the podcast. And so obviously we invite people, and when we do, they get put into the role of like guest. However, so our roles are the hosts, which is me
Yeah.
and Jess, and then just and Spook is the other role. And that's just
Yeah.
Spook's role. That's our roles. But the and Spook still has all the same like powers as the host, but like it's just
We
separate.
wanted that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if my mic picked that up, but I almost knocked my phone off of my desk.
You're good. I did not
Oh,
hear
no.
I had a heart attack. That's like, okay, today I picked up a new my new retainer
Mhm.
for my lovely teeth. Picked it up, I put it on the bathroom counter, and then I immediately swiped it off of the counter. No, I was like,
You
great. I better not have broken.
You got a new phone and went,
Expensive.
actually, I don't like this one. I'm gonna break it to get a new one.
I think my parents would kill me.
Oh, yeah.
That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
like when I was in high school and I had a tablet computer and I think the battery or something had died in it, so I had to get it replaced. And when we finally got it fixed, the day my dad gave it back
Oh,
to me,
no.
the same day I literally dropped it.
It
It hit the foot of my desk, which is metal, shattered the screen. The
Oh,
same
no.
day I got it fixed, and I was literally sitting there like, well, this is it for me.
This is the end for me.
I was like, this is it. I'm like, so I took it upstairs and showed it to my dad because it was just the top corner, but it was pretty bad. But he's like, is it still
I'm
usable?
sorry.
He's like, is it still usable? I'm like, kind of, I guess. And he's like, all right, sucks. And I was like, great. I just have a shattered screen. And the thing is, at one point though, the shatter got so bad that sometimes the mouse would literally get stuck up by the shatter, and I couldn't get it to
Oh my
move.
God.
Literally,
I'm
it was
picturing
so
Emma
yeah,
walking up to her dad, like kicking her foot against the ground, like, "Hey!"
He's dead.
Once I dropped my phone that wasn't water resistant or anything, because like
Oh,
now
gosh.
my phone's water resistant, but I dropped my phone into the pool and it wasn't working. And I was so scared that I hid in my closet crying.
Oh no!
Because my dad is the scariest person when he's angry, because he never gets angry. It was like, he's gonna be so angry with me, so I just hid in my closet. And my dad felt bad. He was like, listen, honey, it's okay. Like,
It's okay.
you don't be
It's
upset. And then we went for a drive while I was crying, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's broken. You're gonna have to buy me a new phone.
Yeah, when I shattered my computer screen, I genuinely thought my dad was gonna be mad, but like he wasn't mad at all. He literally saw it and just was like, "That sucks. You got the money to fix it? No, I guess you're gonna have to use it like that." All right, okay, thanks, Dad. So for a good couple of months, I literally used it like that, and eventually I went to my mom and was like, "I can't do this anymore," and it was right by my birthday. So we basically made an agreement that for my birthday they would get me a new laptop, but it was like a refurbished one, so it was cheaper. But yeah, that wasn't fun.
No, I
Using
would not
that for a good
expect
couple of
that to
months
be
for
fun.
school, and then it's just
Didn't you have a phone that was like bent?
uh-huh.
What?
Remember that?
Uh-huh.
Like, did you slam it into the like?
Okay, I would like to say
floor?
that these both happened, like, within, I think, about the same year. Like, I don't know what it was about that year and all the technology I had. It was literally, they were all just fucking slippery. Like, I just kept fucking dropping shit. I kept dropping them. Like, but this phone, basically what happened was the first time it dropped it had actually slid out of my back pocket and landed on, like, concrete, and it didn't, like, fully shatter the screen, but it definitely cracked it. And then later on, I was going to an appointment with my mom because it was, like, a consultation for my wisdom teeth. And after we were done, we left, and we had gone to, like, I think it was, like, we went to Super Canadian, went to Tim Hortons or something after, and as I was getting back into
I thought you were
the
talking
car...
about Loblaws. It was called the Superstore. I was like, when did it start calling it the Super Canadian?
Super Canadian!
Loblaws.
Anyways, so I was getting back into the car as we were leaving, and again, I always put my phone in my back pocket. Like, I always put it there, and I forgot it was in my back pocket, so when I went to get into the car, it again slid out of my pocket, and it literally fell at the perfect moment that as I literally sat down and started to shut the door, the phone got caught in the door, and I slammed the door on the phone, which is what caused it to bend and the screen to shatter. And so it happened, I opened the door and I'm like, oh no, I don't even want to look at this. I just didn't even look. I reached down and picked it up and I slowly looked at it and it was just like, the screen was popping up, it was shattered, it was slightly bent. I was like, what have I done? I was like, how did I do this? I was literally just, that's the thing, is it still fucking works. It still fucking worked.
And
so
it bent your debit card as well, didn't it?
No, that
was
a different thing. That was my old debit card. But like, it was literally just like, how did I fuck up that badly? Like, it was I think the only good thing I had was that I was getting a new phone soon because we had a new plan that we were getting.
I don't know. I remember seeing it at lunch and I was like, what did you do?
I know, and I was literally just like, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know why, but it's so funny that it's just, oh no, that was my old debit card. That was my other one. It's okay.
It was like curled.
So, okay, I would like to quickly say, before I talk about the debit card, that now with my phones, I now have, every case I get, I always specifically get protective cases, and I also have a very thick glass screen protector on it. And I always make sure every phone I get, I have a protective case and a screen protector, because I don't trust myself.
Are you saying this to the podcast themselves, like the listeners themselves, or to your mother so she knows that you're not gonna break into their phone?
No, my mom already knows. She already knows exactly why I bought them. But like, yeah, but like I don't trust myself with it anymore. But like, the phone was really like slippery and very thin. Because it was like I think it was an LG G5, which if you've ever seen them, they're very thin phones. And the tablet computer too, also really slippery and thin. So literally they just slide out of your hand, out of your pockets like it's nothing. And I'm like, I can't have technology like this. I am too clumsy for this type of thing. Like, I just can't have this kind of stuff.
My old phone, so it was in my back pocket. This was, I don't know, 2018. I've had that phone for a long ass time. But it was like, I used to babysit for the kids around the corner, and I was going there, and it started raining, so I started running, and somehow my phone in my back pocket came flying out and skidded across the road.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh dear God. But like, I scooped it up as I was running, because it's still raining, and I looked at it, and like, the screen had like a bit of cracking around it, like the screen protector, and like, it had like a nice long crack over it, and I was like, oh, it's fine. And then I sat there with the cracked screen protector for like 5 more years.
Yeah, I don't. If the screen protector,
just got a new phone.
If the screen protector's cracked, that I don't care, because that I can literally pull off and get a new one for like $10. If it's the actual screen though, it's like, well, fuck. But
yeah, there was a little crack in the very like bottom left-hand corner of the actual screen, but I never saw it. But it actually was so bad, the cracks, that some of the glass would fall out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I just want to quickly talk about the debit card that Spook mentioned.
Oh, yes.
So, when I was, I think it was like I was 10 or 11 when I got my bank account. because at the time I had started doing like babysitting and I suddenly started making like a lot of money, and my mom was just like, you need somewhere you can put this that
Or
just
make a
isn't
bank.
that isn't just like a piggy bank. So my mom took me to get like my first bank account, and I obviously got a debit card with it. And I had the same debit card for like I think 10 years. Like I literally did not replace it for almost 10 years. And this card, I don't remember what exactly it was. I think again it was literally I just put it in my back pocket, forgot it was there, sat on it, and it basically just bent to the shape of my ass. It literally bent to the shape of my ass, and it was just bent like that for I don't know how many years it was like that, until finally I think I was 18 or 19. I went, I need to get a new card. Like, this card already itself is super outdated. I need something new. So I went to get one that I could have like tap and stuff on it. Like, because I was just like, it was so funny though when I went into the bank, because I went in and I just walked up to the teller. I was like, yeah, I was hoping I could just get a new debit card. Like, I've had this one for like so long, it's super old. I want to get one that's more current. And she's like, yeah,
my butt.
and she's like, yeah, no problem. Do you have your old card with you? I was like, yep. And I pulled it out of my wallet and I put it up and on the counter. And she looks at it and goes, what did you do to it? I was just like,
sat on it.
I was just like, I sat on it, and it's been like that for God knows how long. And she literally was laughing. She was like, that is so funny. She's like, I've heard some stories, but I don't know why that one is so funny. I'm like, no, you're right. It's funny. Like, I just forgot my card was in my back pocket one day, and now it's shaped to my ass. Like, but yeah, that was so funny, because she was younger. She was probably like a few years older than me, like in her, I'd say like early 20s, but we were literally sitting there laughing about it. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly why I need a new one. It was a good time.
Listen, man, it was an accident. I actually sat on it and
I remember
when
I went to go get my credit card. It was with my dad. But I went to go get my credit card. I'm sitting there and the banker's telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't understand any of this. I don't understand finances at all. And it's definitely something I need to learn. But she's talking about like insurance and like all of this, and I was like, huh? I just know I need to pay it back.
They're talking about that, and you're like, uh-huh.
And then I literally, like, my dad helped me out and all that stuff. He kind of guided me to, like, he pretty much just got me a credit card. And then on our drive back, it's like a 30-minute drive to the bank where we go.
30? Jeez.
Yeah, because we go to where my dad works.
Oh, okay.
Not, like, specifically the bank that he works at, because he's not a banker. But the city.
How many jobs does your father have?
All of them.
According to him, all of them, yeah. Apparently, according to him, he was in the Beatles, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
What?
I mean, we were talking about it the other day that he has John Lennon's guitar, so.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
So I mean.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah, on the way back, my dad was like, okay, here's everything you need to know about what was just said. I'm like, thank you.
Here's the rundown.
Literally, I have learned more from my dad than I have at school. Like, not even just about
school
like the
shit.
Stuff. I have learned more about the government from my dad than I've ever learned at school. Like, there's a specific course, like civics. You have to take that in grade 10. And it's literally about the Canadian government, all that stuff. Did I learn anything in that class? No.
I passed that.
Political parties, conservative and liberal.
I passed that class.
I
passed that class with a 96, and you think I remember anything that happened in that class? 99. Literally, you think I remember anything from that class? Nope. I didn't even learn there were other political parties until after that class, because all they talked about was liberal and conservative. And I'm like, y'all could have been telling me about the NDP this whole time? Like, excuse me?
I passed that class with a solid 68.
Oh, you didn't get. Oh,
the funniest thing.
Boo.
No.
Funniest thing about that class was they taught me everything I already knew because I listened to my dad rant about politics.
But honestly, though, what you're saying about learning everything from your dad, that's literally me with my mom. Like, I've learned more from my mom than I have from school.
My dad is the weirdest person. I might have already talked about this on the podcast, but my dad's the weirdest person because he's not like he's not like school smart, but he also is like. If he went to school, he probably wouldn't get the best grades, but my dad knows, like, everything. You ask him anything, and he knows it. It's weird. Yeah. He's such a great person to have a talk with, though. We should get him on the freaking podcast.
Yes.
He doesn't know I have a podcast.
Hey, Dad, you want to go on a podcast? Do you have a podcast?
Yeah, literally. But I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I haven't told my parents that I have a podcast. Why? I think it's just because like this feels very personal to me. Like, cause like this is just me rambling, and it's like I don't know if I want my parents hearing this. I know we swear in this, and I don't. I think my parents know I swear, but at the same time, I don't.
You're
think they do.
21.
Yeah, I'm 21, but like,
swear.
I know
But
my
if my
parents.
mommy
My
knows our
parents
cousin,
swear
they get
in
in
front of
trouble.
me. My parents
Oh my
swear in
God.
front of me. My sister swears. I swear, but like swearing in front of my parents feels weird. But anyways.
Oh, nice.
I was so I was thinking, I'm like, if I told my dad that I had a podcast, he would listen to every single episode in one sitting.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I know he would.
I told my parents about the podcast. You know what they do? Good job. They don't listen. They don't.
I think my mom.
Bro?
My mom
Hey,
probably wouldn't
man,
listen.
I have a podcast. You guys just go. Good job.
Then there's
You're
my
doing great.
mom, our #1 fan.
Yeah. Shout out to Emma's mom. I feel like
Mom.
every episode we do a shout out to her.
Hell yeah, we
Please
do.
do.
Like I don't
We
like
love
I
your
know
mom.
I know she's not
MVP.
like fully caught up in the episodes because like a lot of what she would do is like she'll listen to it like when she's out like driving, commuting and stuff, but she doesn't do a lot of driving right now. So
Oh, does she know that I
listen
wasn't on a
much, but-
podcast episode?
Yes, she knows.
Oh, thank God.
She
Oh.
knows. Don't
I
worry.
was gonna be heartbroken. I would be so sad. She just pulls up the episode. I'm missing. No.
She's like, well, this is it. I can't listen anymore. My favorite's gone.
Can I
My own
mention
daughter
something?
don't care about her.
Screw her.
Can I mention something that's so weird?
Yes.
So Abby let me talk to her mom, right? And she told her mom how I want to be friends with her. And her mom gave me permission to add her on Facebook.
Yeah, no, my one friend gave me her mom's phone number because one, her mom loves me, and two, her mom is great.
Exactly, like
Because she's this old. Should say she's old.
oh my
Is it-
God, don't call people old.
Yeah.
Call them
Where is she from?
elderly.
Pakistan, I think. Yeah,
Call
my
them
friend's from
elderly.
Pakistan. Yeah. My friend's mom is from Pakistan. And like
Pakistan,
I
you said?
love learning about all different cultures, and like I obviously love learning languages. The first part of this episode was just me talking about languages. Which I still want to do a full episode about talking about languages. But anyways, that's for later. But she started teaching me some Urdu, and I was like, yeah, I'm really interested in like learning Urdu. And she's like, oh my gosh, your friend is so cool. Like, wow. And I became the favorite.
So quickly.
Little white kid is like, yeah, Urdu's a cool language. Tell me more about your culture. And she's like, I like you.
Like, I like this one. You brought
Take
home
this
a good
one
one.
Congrats. I guess.
And she also made
I
this
love
banging pasta. I went over to my friend's house to watch Spider-Man, and then she made us pasta, and I was like, pasta's the best thing I've ever had in my life.
Oh my God.
No, what had happened? So I have another friend, obviously. I have lots of friends. No, I don't.
Wow, so popular.
But,
You have lots of
I know.
friends.
well, I don't, yeah, no.
More than
One
you.
of my friends, not the one whose mom loves me. It's the opposite, actually. So,
What?
my mom loves my friend. And it was to the point where she was over the one day. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, you're like a second daughter to me. And she just stopped, and I looked at her, I'm like,
Oh no.
Mom, you have 2 kids. And she was like, oh yeah, you're like a third daughter.
He's just like,
She just forgot
Oh.
my sister.
just, huh? Whoops.
She just straight up forgot my sister.
That's
was like,
so... Wow. Okay. Wow.
Oh, no.
So now we have a running joke where it's like, yeah, the other one.
The other one slowly turns to the sister.
No, my sister doesn't live here anymore. She's
Slow turn anyway.
married.
She's
Ugh,
married and has a
married.
job.
A job.
I've never seen her at this job before.
Can't be sure it's real.
Yeah.
Could
I don't
be
know,
lying
she
to
gets
me
on a
this whole
plane
time.
and goes places. Sounds suspicious.
I think she's a drug dealer.
I don't know why she's going to Nunavut for that though, but whatever.
There's a very
Selling
specific
drugs.
niche audience she sells to.
Literally. She went up to Nunavut over the summer. This sucks for her, but she went up to Nunavut for like 3 weeks or something like that in the summer. And I think the nearest civilization was like 4 hours by plane.
Civilization.
She was in the middle of nowhere. She was so far north that she was in 24-hour sun.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yikes.
The sun didn't set.
Yikes.
And then actually, she is currently, like, where she is, she's not there currently, she's going there, next week, actually. But the place she's currently doing her rotations at is also pretty far north, and she just sees moose every day. There was a lynx as well at one point. Yeah.
What the fuck
Living the
does your
life.
sister do?
My sister's an engineer.
I don't
That much I
believe
can
it.
say.
Your sister licks rocks.
Yeah. She works in mines, that's all I know.
Licking rocks.
She's a coal miner?
No, like, she takes samples from the earth, pretty much.
An
And then
archaeologist.
No.
Definitely not.
You're losing
Not
me
quite.
here.
But it was actually funny, though, because, well, you know what? Actually, both of my career paths would work. Because if I go into archaeology, which I probably won't, I would probably be working with her because she does a lot of things with rocks and all that stuff, right? In archaeology, like, you need to dig, all that stuff. And then the other thing that I'm thinking of currently going into is architecture. And I would need
Mosby?
to know if I can build stuff on this
I don't
land,
even know
which
if
my
you know
sister
what
does.
Ted Mosby is. Do you know
Jess?
who Ted Mosby is?
Jess,
No.
not everything is about How I Met Your Mother, okay?
Everything is about that show, Emma. Everything.
Okay, sure.
Like, never do anything after 2 a.m.
I want to
Quite.
know, why did you talk about Ted
Mosby is the
Ted
main
Mosby
character.
is
He's
an architect.
Yeah, he's an architect. That's his job in the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
a lot of fucking
God.
dog.
Did you just say?
Lot of freaking dog.
Oh!
You just set her off.
We need to
Oh my
cut the episode. Cut the episode.
Cut.
We need to end it here.
Oh god.
You end it before friendships are ended.
You just see Jess's like icon just deafen, and then suddenly I just hear Spook screaming. That's the end of the episode.
Find out next episode if Spook survived.
See if Jess got arrested or if she evaded the cops.
It's like that crappy zoom in.
Next episode, it's just me running on my treadmill, out of breath, talking on the podcast. Okay, guys, on the run.
It's been a week. I'm still on the run. They haven't found me
You're
yet.
not even there like the whole episode. You just come in and out every couple of minutes to update us. As like I'm
Your
just
sirens are so often.
Spook's just
Hear the
Spook's just not in the episode, but anytime Jess is talking, you just hear Spook yelling in the background like a cop, and then I have a guest on that I'm just casually talking to while this is happening.
If this happens eventually, this was not planned. This was
So funny.
It's definitely real, definitely happening.
wink, wink.
Please don't call the
funny.
cops on us.
That would be such a funny episode, though.
It would. That'd be
we
hilarious.
have like Jordan or someone on. We're just having a casual conversation, and it's just every so often Jess is just coming in screaming about running from the cops. So you just hear Spooky just like, "Get back here! We have you surrounded!"
We have you surrounded!
Just screaming.
Exactly, that'd be so funny. I love that.
One
Oh my
shooter.
Take her down! I've got the shot. Go!
No, don't take the shot. Don't take the shot.
I like that we keep coming up with these weird ass scenarios. Like we got the bookshop and the cafe with my creepy ass office.
Jimmy.
Poor Jimmy.
Jimmy
Now
will
we've
be
got-
remembered.
Now we've got Jess trying to kill
In the
Spook and evading the
arms
cops.
of The angel. Do do do.
This whole episode is fucking ridiculous, and yet it's probably gonna be one of my favorites.
Probably.
Oh,
I would
love
like to
this.
say I would like to say that this was my idea. I sent this. wait. Let me get the timestamp. Yeah,
got
I sent it at
timestamp,
like
too.
3:07. I said we should do an episode where we just have no topic and see how it goes and where it leads us.
I hope we have more episodes where we don't have a topic, because this is actually hilarious. I love this.
Yeah, honestly,
hilarious to us. The listeners are probably listening, going like, "What?" Because every single thing we say is an inside joke.
Yeah, it's just something different. It's something that they don't know about.
It's very raw and authentic. I hate when people review stuff like that.
All I want to say is like this is exactly what happens though when you take us three and you just let us loose and are like, do whatever you want. This is what happens.
Oh yeah, this is you're hearing.
And
it seems like in a VC normally.
Yeah.
Like our topics are tame. This is completely off the rails. This is what we are. This is complete raw true form of us.
This is me off the meds.
Off the meds.
Which, you know what, I feel like
don't mind me just making fun of
other
Kanye
episodes
again.
are still pretty chaotic, but
oh yeah.
But this one is something else.
Whoa. This is interesting.
When else are you going to get an episode where we keep threatening to kill each other?
True. We're all friends here. So I was reading, going back to the Google Doc that we had that I mentioned at the very beginning of the episode. We have a Google Doc with all topics and all that stuff of what we should talk about. And there's one where it's either we talk about weed and like our experiences high.
Oh god.
But then there was also one where it's we get high before the episode and we record it. However, I don't like doing drugs. Like, at all. It's just not something I'm interested in. So I was thinking, like, if we ever record an episode with that, one, we have to get Jordan in here, because she's, like, constantly high. And two, I feel like I'd be the only sober one here. I have to just suffer with everyone being high. And I think that'd make a great episode.
See, I'd like to mention that we wrote that down before I started doing marijuana.
And now I've like I had an edible one time and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah,
my brother-in-law has been trying to get me to smoke or like do an edible, eat an edible or something like that. I know.
To get me to do a drug.
Wait. Let me finish my sentence, and I'll get back to that. But like, he keeps trying to get me to participate in the drugs, and I'm like, bro, I'm never gonna cave. Like, it's not something I'm interested in. Then the one time, I was like, yeah, you know, I'll have a drink. Like, I like vodka, so I was like, yeah, give me, like, a Smirnoff. And also my brother-in-law was like, you drink? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I drink, like, 4 drinks a year. Like, it's not rare.
Like,
but anyways, going back to me messing up saying do edibles. My roommate in a university was... consider this, she smoked in her room. Which I didn't care about, because she always did it, like, outside the window. Which was also funny because sometimes I just see the smoke go past my window. I'm like, oh yeah, she's getting high right now. But
she's having fun.
I didn't care. Her friend was always like, oh, Spook's gonna get like so annoyed with us. And my roommate was like, bro, she knows, it's fine. But
like, as long as you're not like.
But she laughed at me. As long as the room doesn't smell like weed, like 24/7, I'm fine with it. And it didn't, so I was fine with it. But. The one time I said something like, do the weed, she laughed at me. I'm like, listen, man, I don't know anything about drugs. Like,
drugs.
I am just a simple toddler thrown into a school on my own.
Literally.
Poor Spook went, yes, the university experience.
Yes, the looks at smudged writing on hand. The weed.
Do you?
The wed.
I'm here to do this with you, fellow children. The wed. The wed. The what? The what? What you just got?
Any of you kids know where I can get the weed? Are you a cop? I'm slowly backing away. No.
No.
Literally how I act. But my issue is that it's like, okay, you drink alcohol, but then what do you do with weed? Like, you smoke it. But like, I don't know, for me it's just saying smoke the weed. Smoke weed. So I always I default to do weed.
Yo, you guys do weed? What?
You do the drugs?
Hello, fellow children. Do you?
I guess grammatically it makes sense.
I don't know about you guys, but I
socially
snort my weed.
What?
Chop it up into little pieces.
Anyway, you know, almost like TikToks and there's a lot of Vines as well. No, there's a specific Vine where it's like, yeah, bro, like I can do it by myself. I know how bong works. And it kind of like blows into it. Yeah, that'd be me.
True.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know how bongs work. I look at them like, I don't know. I would blow into it.
You're like, oh yeah, it works. You're like, it works
like the funky bubbles.
Water just everywhere. Bro, that would be so funny.
Like the squarest person in the world.
Oh my god.
I'm listening to this being like, yo, Spook is boring. There's no freaking social life. It's true. But you don't have to say it out loud.
I want to say something though. There was one time
I'm a riot to be around.
There was one time where our friend Jordan had brought me into a private call with one of her friends because he needed help with some stuff with Photoshop. And of course, you know, I'm the person that you go to for that. So she brought me in, and then after we were done, we were all kind of like just chilling and talking for a bit. And then he asked me like, we started talking about like drinking and stuff like that, and I had said like, yeah, I really don't drink. Like, it's very rare for me to drink. It's just not something I do. And he's like, do you like smoke weed or anything? You like edibles, anything like that? I'm like, no, I don't do any of that. And he literally looked at me like I was insane. And I was just like, how do people just make this their whole personality? Like,
no,
like it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't care if you do it, but when you make it your whole personality and then are absolutely shocked when there are people in the world that don't do it, it's just like, I have my reasons. Like,
my roommate was fantastic because she recognized that like that wasn't my thing, and she was like, yeah, that's chill. I loved my roommate.
Yeah, people like that, totally cool with. It's the ones who look at you like you're insane. It's just like, please don't make me feel like I'm boring and I'm crazy because I don't want to do drugs.
And she was never like, yeah, you should do drugs with me. Like, just like join me for like one session kind of thing. Is it called a session? I don't know.
Yeah. It's called a session.
Yeah, just like join me for a session. She was never like, she was just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just...
Shout out to my first year university roommate.
I don't know if you ever listen to this, but you know, shout out to you, bro.
She always woke me up at 6:30 a.m. It was so funny because at the beginning, like September to December, so like first semester, I would be awake at like 7 a.m. I'd be doing everything, and then I'd go to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock. And then I know what happened, but I'll get there later.
What?
The second semester, it was January to March because everything closed. I went to bed at like 4 a.m. and woke up at like 10. She would always get up really early. Like, we flipped because first semester she would be up like, I think she'd get home at like 6 a.m. and sleep all day. And then we flipped. Or second semester she was up really early, and then I would I would sleep in really late. Till like the last week, and when I got up at 6 o'clock to go to the gym every day. That was weird. But I think what happened was I listened to the Adventure Zone, and I'd stay up really late. It just destroyed my sleep schedule. But I sent her this one, it's a picture of a dog, like, waking up. Like, he's all tucked in to bed, and it's him, like, waking up. But, like, you know when animals wake up after they've been in a deep sleep?
Oh, yeah.
And they just have that look?
Mm-hmm.
It's that.
Oh.
And I sent it to her. I was like, me waking up at 5:30 a.m. to hear you close the door. And she's like, hey, I got home at 11 or like 12 o'clock last night. I was like, okay, sorry. Me waking up at 12 a.m. to hear you come in.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that story, so I just kept going.
It's,
as you should.
Yeah, it's...
Really like my roommate. Cool.
See, that's the... Even though, like, I still wish I could have, like, lived on campus for school and everything.
So gay.
But like,
it's okay.
One thing I do,
version.
One thing I do appreciate though is not having to ever like have a roommate, because like my room is down here in the basement of our house, so I got the entire basement to myself. Because you know I'm the kid that lives in their parents' basements playing video games all day. Yeah. But yeah, I got the whole basement to myself, so at least I don't have to worry about anyone waking me up super early. The only thing that wakes me up is when my dogs decide to bark at whatever.
See, my room was, like, my dorm room, it was a shared little kitchenette area, shared bathroom, and then we had our two separate rooms. So yeah. I still had my privacy and all this stuff. I would just always hear her walking around in the kitchen. And her friend was always over and she'd slam the door. I'm like, shut up. Because it's a heavy, like, one of the fire doors.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to sleep.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly what your room layout is, because I'm pretty sure I've told you this. When I was in the 8th grade, we had our grad trip in Ottawa, and we literally stayed.
Wow, way to dox me! I'm not even up there right now.
As if there are multiple schools up there.
Yeah,
I'll cut it
as well. There's multiple universities.
I'll cut it. There. Here, let me restart.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
But like literally where we stayed, it was literally in the dorms, and it was like the exact type of dorm that you stayed in, so like, I know the exact layout.
This is if anyone knows Ottawa, this is going to like you're gonna know exactly where I go to school.
It's the
but
same
like the top
here.
floors are like they're used for like it's hotel rooms sometimes. Like there's suites up there.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. We didn't have internet like from January to March. We didn't have any internet. It was horrible. I went to other buildings just to watch YouTube videos. I would sit in class and I would download YouTube videos to watch when I got back to my room.
What you doing?
I was watching Critical Role during the time, so I just download Critical Role episodes.
I remember
what you doing there, Spook? I'm downloading the.
Oh my god, it was so bad. Stuff and so the thing is that we'd always put in like reports and all that stuff saying, "Hey, we don't have internet," and they'd message us back going like, "Oh yeah, we fixed it. It's working." And it's like it says no internet. We don't have internet.
We fixed it. It's working. Are you gaslighting me? Are you fucking gaslighting me? You're just
why are you doing
like, why
this?
are you gaslighting me? Like, why are you doing this to me? What did I do?
Yeah, and because so I was in a really tall building. So what they did is that they separated it through floors. So we had 3 different Wi-Fis that you connect to based off which floor it was, and it was supposed to increase the speed. And it just
and
there was no internet.
Killed it entirely.
Yeah, literally.
What a bunch of Narthanderwalls.
Useless. I don't know who's in charge of the internet, but man.
That is not even a word, but you know what? We're going with it.
Okay. I'd love it if there was just one listener who went to the same university as me and was like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what? That was like that one time that I had a TikTok come up on my page, and it was of this very specific restaurant that's like right at my school that I love. I love this place. And I remember the TikTok started where they were looking sort of down at this bar stool, and I saw it and went, hey, that looks familiar. And they looked up a little more, and I went, I know that place. I was like, hey, that's the. And before I even fully saw the thing, I was like, oh, it's this restaurant. And then like I saw the rest of it, and then I saw the comments, and everyone else was like, yeah, I know my restaurant. Like everyone else is the same as me. It's like we just see it and we just know exactly. I was like,
whenever
how did this get on my page?
Like whenever I look at the news, and there's like stuff about Ottawa or like someone's reporting from Ottawa and all that stuff, I was like, I've walked that exact street. Like, I've been exactly where that person stood. And it just weird.
Mm-hmm. The same thing for me.
I know that spot.
If you've never been to Ottawa, I would suggest going. Ottawa's a very nice place.
It is.
Yeah.
I've never been. No, yeah, I have been, actually.
It was so weird, because I went from never being, like, I've never gone to Ottawa before to suddenly living there. Which I guess is an experience for, like, most university students, but it was just so weird to me. I remember walking around, I'm like, I've never been here before.
Yeah. With my school, I technically went before I was even accepted because I had to do an interview for my program.
Yeah, I went for a tour.
Yeah, well, I didn't do a tour or anything, but I took that after that interview because I took the day off from school so that I could go do it because it was like middle of the day.
That. Yeah.
So I went and did the interview, and then when I was done, I just wandered around the buildings and stuff to just kind of slowly figure out where things are. And I was like, and I used that time to figure out like the public transit and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. I was like, if I get in, I'll be fine. It was very easy.
Thing
and now I know it
with
like it's
with my campus tour. See, I don't mind talking about this because like in online school, like I don't even live in Ottawa anymore. You guys ain't know where I live. You guys know. My fellow hosts know.
To the exact
you live. You know where I'm.
Let me give you the address real quick.
Yeah.
No. Coordinates.
Yeah,
we're gonna coordinates.
But anyways, so during the tour of my campus, like the university's kind of separated, so it's like arts on one side, STEM on the other. And so I'm in the arts, obviously, so we kind of just focused on the arts building. And the tour guy was like, yeah, this is like the STEM area, you probably won't have any classes here, but like this is the area. We're not going to focus on this because we just really don't have time. And then I had a class in the STEM area. I had 2 classes in the STEM area. All the way at the very end, and I was like, could have used a tour of this. I hated that building, actually.
Yeah.
All the way, it was the very last building on campus. I had to walk all the way over there. And it's like minus 30 out, snowing, and I'm like,
oh, during the wintertime?
I go to class.
During the wintertime, I very quickly figured out the best routes back and forth from, like, train, subway, and everything, to my school that avoided being outside for as long as possible. Because, like...
I remember.
I specifically went and I found out about all these, like, underground tunnels and stuff I didn't know about that, like, are just these public, like, walkways. And I was just like, sick, I'm gonna use this. And I literally will just take it literally all the way to my campus. It's great. I
remember, we had the one snowstorm. And us being both Ottawa and Canadian, we like, the university didn't shut down the school. Like, classes were still there, even though there was, like, 3 feet of snow. But I had a friend who was in second year while I was in first year, and so she lived off campus. And I remember she came in, like, I was waiting for the class to start, and she walked in.
Oh no!
She was just covered in snow, like she was just white. And I was like, "Bro, are you good?" She's like, "No, that was the worst walk ever. They haven't plowed the sidewalk."
Oh no!
I was like, you came to class? You came all this way to Latin class?
You didn't have to do that!
I'm like, girl, I know you hate this class. Why did you come?
Why?
Oh,
Why did you do that to yourself? What the fuck?
That was a fun episode. Here's my final thoughts. Okay, thank you for your consideration.
And that's it. Perfect. Thank you for listening to the Burnout Kids podcast. If you're interested in following any of us, you can follow me, Emma, on Twitter and Instagram at stopit_Emma. Or you can follow me on TikTok at stopitemmalive. Or you can follow me on Twitch and YouTube at stopitEmma. And if you're interested in following Jess, you can follow her on Twitter at @tothemoon_Jess. Or you can follow her on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at @tothemoonjessie. And if you're interested in following Spook, you can follow them on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Spookish with 2 Ks. And if you're interested in following the podcast, you can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at Burnout Kids Cast, or on Instagram and TikTok at Burnout Kids Podcast. For our audio listeners, we have a YouTube channel called the Burnout Kids Podcast. And for our YouTube watchers that want to listen on the go, we have a Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcasts. We release new episodes every other Saturday, so be sure to stop by for another episode with your local Burnout Kids. Bye!